I probably Khabib. How about Khabib?
I'm down.
You know?
Эти вопросы, вернешься, не вернешься. Как у нас в этом. Не знаю, видел ли ты этот ролик или нет. Я давал тебе слово, забирай. Так что у меня нету таких планов. Кто-то будет считать, что это неправильно, кто-то будет считать, что это правильно, ему надо драться. Так что у меня мое мнение, что если ты завершаешь, то завершай.
Donald Trump has surprised the MMA world as he expressed interest in seeing Jake Paul face Khabib Nurmagomedov, praising Khabib as one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time and saying he admires him.
Maybe Usyk in MMA,
Right,
Francis
very good.
Ngannou, Ryan Garcia,
Right.
maybe Tommy Fury. There's a lot of. Who would you want to see me fight?
Well, I probably Khabib. How about Khabib?
I'm down.
You know? I think he's been just great. When they say who is the best of those, I mean, I've had a lot of fights. I've had Mike Tyson and a lot of them. That was great.
Donald Trump also commented on the UFC Freedom 250, praising Dana White as a great guy and a fan. He added that the card looks tremendous, noting that even if it's not fully finalized, it appears stacked with top-tier fighters.
You're going to be at UFC 250?
I will be. It's going to be amazing at the White House. And Dana's a great guy. He's a good fan of yours, you know.
Yes.
But Dana's a good guy, the best. I mean, there's nobody like him. And he had the idea of staging it right at the front door of the White House. We'll be right in the front door of the White House. And he's got a tremendous card. I don't even know if it's filled out, but I just saw it, and it looks like it's going to be, you know, all top guys. They all want to fight at the White House. So it's going to be in honor of the 250th year. So it'll be great.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Sean O'Malley. He's the homie.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great fighter.
Donald Trump might not know this, but his buddy Dana White is facing a lot of criticism these days for the White House card, and adding to the spice, his guest Jake Paul is also one of them. In a recent interview, Jake raised the idea that fighters could benefit from pursuing opportunities outside the UFC. Paul predicted more athletes would join Eddie Hearn, seeing it as a way to secure bigger fights and greater control over their careers.
What do you make about the beef between Eddie Hearn and Dana White?
I think it's very entertaining, and I just think it's good content and good for both of their promotional abilities. And I think we'll see more UFC fighters go and sign with Eddie Hearn, which I think is a very smart move on their part.
Ronda Rousey also condemned the UFC for losing sight of its original mission to showcase top-tier fights. She argued that since Dana White stepped back from daily operations, the promotion feels unrecognizable. Rousey warned that the company risks mismanagement and positioned herself as someone ready to restore its former standard.
It was meant to be. It was meant to push us onto the other side, and once they've moved into the streaming model, it's just not about putting on the best fights possible anymore. You know, Dana is legally beholden to the shareholders and to maximize shareholder value. And unfortunately, now that they've taken the reins from the company away from him, it's barely recognizable now. And they need to be saved from themselves. And luckily, I'm here to be their hero.
Similarly, Colby Covington criticized the UFC for upsetting its hardcore fans with the White House card. He suggested that the promotion seems to be relying on hype rather than substance, and predicted that events like REF 07 will ultimately outshine the White House show in both prominence and impact.
But why wouldn't they just do like Michael Chandler at welterweight, right? You versus Michael Chandler at welterweight, because isn't he trying to get this Conor McGregor fight? Then it's like you and him. You and Conor could be something fun, maybe even. You know what I mean? Like, how does this make sense? Please make sense of this to me. Can you make sense of this to me, Colby? It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to you. It definitely doesn't make sense to the fans. So they're upsetting their hardcore fan base, and it's just sad. You know, it's like they're checking out. You know, it's like they made their money with Paramount. They're like, whatever, we're just gonna throw shit at the wall and we're gonna tell everybody it's filet mignon. But at the end of the day, RAF 7 is gonna be a bigger and more prominent event than the White House event. You know, they're giving the matches the fans want to see. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, life will go on, and and the UFC will keep doing what they do.
On the other hand, Arman Tsarukyan finally has his next fight locked in. After months of waiting, the UFC has set a date, putting him back on track to showcase his skills and make his mark in the division.
Ну, не было такого, что слишком жестко обошлись или там несправедливо, такого не было, да?
Не. Я не знаю, почему Дана говорит отрицательно насчет меня, но у меня с ними все хорошо, и никаких там внутренних интриг у меня нету с ними.
Вот, честно говоря, я думал, ты обратишься к Дане, не знаю, в очередной раз, сейчас уже тем более на эмоциях после победы.
У меня нет нечего к нему обращаться. Во-первых, я с ним не веду переговоры, я веду переговоры с Хантером, и он все бои организовывает, которые я дерусь. Наверное, Дана просто дает согласие от боев. Как бы матчмейкер это у нас Шон Шелби, потом идет Хантер, который уже задает. И мне Дане нечего сказать, мне только надо сказать Хантеру, чтобы он мне дал. И мы сегодня утром разговаривали, и он мне сказал приблизительную дату, когда я буду драться.
Arman Tsarukyan is gearing up for his next big challenge, and the UFC has made it clear he'll face whoever comes out on top between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje. Tsarukyan is ready, keeping his focus sharp as he waits for the winner, knowing that the fight will set the stage for him to step into the spotlight.
We are waiting for the Ilya versus Justin, and after that I'll fight them.
Oh, really? That's like kind of official?
Yeah. It's not official, but they say like that.
Okay, so you'll be the next in line once that fight happens.
Yeah, and I can fight with the winner, Oliveira and Holloway as well, because I don't want to wait too much. So if they offer me Oliveira or Holloway, I'll fight them, because I don't want to wait 1 year for the fight.
No, of course.
Arman Tsarukyan thinks Ilia Topuria would choose to fight Justin Gaethje over him if given the option, believing Topuria might be wary of facing him. Tsarukyan pointed out that while Gaethje is dangerous, Topuria knows a fight with Arman would be no easy challenge and not makes him a fighter to watch closely.
Wait, why? You're not going to fight him?
Who, Arman?
Yeah.
Bro, as I told you, you never call to the UFC and you tell them who you want to fight or where you want to fight. So if they call me and they want me to fight with Arman, no problem.
So you don't care?
Damn. He changed his minds every month, because this is bullshit. He's just saying on the camera.
No, you think he's just saying it so he looks?
Yeah, if he's gonna have two names, Gage or Arman, he pick Gage.
Yeah, but he has to fight Gage.
No, but
he's the interim champ.
Yeah, well, no. For example, if they say like, you got two names, who you pick, Arman or Gage? Of course, he's gonna pick
But he has
Gage.
to.
No, I'm saying if he's not. No.
He's just saying
I'm saying in general, if he's not interim title.
Oh, sorry. Right,
Yeah.
Do you think Ilia Topuria is scared of you? Yes. And do you think it's because your grappling's elite? He's seen what you do to the division.
Yeah.
He sees how active you are.
Yeah, of course he knows like it's a tough fight. Tough fight. Yeah, if he's not gonna knock me out, what he's gonna do?
Arman Tsarukyan revealed his ambition to surpass Islam Makhachev's record of lightweight title defense. Tsarukyan aims to defend the belt 5 to 6 times, firmly establishing 155 pounds as his division.
I like competitions. I like to compete. I like martial arts, and I like to be the best. And when they signed me in UFC, I wanted to be a UFC champion, and doesn't matter how much they pay, but I just want to be a champion, and I know I work so hard for that.
Yep.
And I gotta be a champion, and I can defend as much as possible this belt. Like I heard like 3 or 4 times Islam defended 4 times.
4 times.
So I want to defend like 5, 6 times, and yeah, and 155, I feel like it's my division, and it's my times comes.
Meanwhile, Charles Oliveira has defeated Max Holloway to get the BMF belt, and Arman is now interested in fighting him.
Just tell the name. Who you wanna fight next?
I wanna fight next Charles Oliveira. Let's go.
On the other hand, UFC 328 is also announced, and the fans can't wait for the highly anticipated clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland. The talk is going to be crazy, as we know these two don't like each other.
What a matchup for the middleweight title.
Fun card, and obviously the main event is the fight that people have been waiting for a long time. Strickland looked incredible in his last performance, and you know, How much security do you think we're going to need from Chimaev?
Quite a lot, Dana. You need to hire some extra people because Sean Strickland, as we know, the man's a maniac, but he deserves this shot.
Daniel Cormier warned that extra security might be needed for Chimaev versus Strickland due to their clear animosity. He highlighted the contrast between Strickland's composed approach and Khamzat's relentless aggression, noting that this tension is exactly what makes a fight explosive. DC said, "Do you think we'll need extra security for Chimaev versus Strickland? Absolutely. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure I trust those two enough to put them together before the fight because I think they might start throwing down. They clearly hate each other, and that kind of tension is what fights are built on. That bad blood, that heat, the genuine dislike, those are the sparks that make a fight. Sean doesn't really dislike anyone, which somehow makes him fascinating to watch, but Khamzat is all about smashing people, overwhelming them, taking them down and leaving them unable to do anything. Meanwhile, Sean Strickland has already insisted that he's the only one who can beat Khamzat. He framed the matchup as massive, believing his style could force Khamzat to an extended striking battle. Strickland added that if the fight remains at the feet, he expects to dictate the pace and secure a decision victory.
I feel like this is one of those fights though where, man, if you win this, I think the storyline is right there for Khamzat. I very much get the sense that Khamzat would like to fight you.
Yeah, no, I mean that'd be a big fight. You know, I think that I think I'm probably the only one that could beat Chimaev. I honestly think Fluffy's a better wrestler than Chimaev. I think pace-wise, style-wise, I think over 5 rounds, Fluffy's probably a better. But then stand-up, I think Chimaev might take him to a stand-up decision.
Dricus du Plessis also believes that Sean Strickland has a strong chance against Khamzat. He noted that Strickland holds the advantage in striking, and despite Khamzat's danger on the ground, Strickland's strength and skill make him a very real threat in the matchup.
I know Imamov and Khamzat kind of don't want to fight each other. I'm not really excited for that fight. Not a lot of people are, but the Strickland fight, I believe I face Strickland. In the striking, he definitely beats Khamzat, for sure. Khamzat, a problem to deal with when he has you on your back. We've seen that many times. With Strickland, what he does brilliantly, I took Strickland down, I think 7 times. The way he gets up to hold him down is incredibly hard. At Extreme Couture, where they specialize in that cage wrestling, getting back to his feet. And Strickland's a lot stronger than people might think. I think he has a very good chance in that fight.
Dricus du Plessis stated that Khamzat Chimaev lacks the tools to evolve into a true striker. He added that he expects to face the same version of Khamzat in a rematch, and believes with his improvements, he will outperform Khamzat in striking the next time they meet.
I think he will do the exact same thing. I don't think he has the ability to change. I don't think he has the ability to become a striker, or even just match any good striker. He doesn't. I was in there with him striking. It's not a fight. But it was my responsibility to stop what he was doing, and he implemented his game plan a lot better. And he won the fight fair and square. It wasn't controversial, it was a fair and square win, but he was better at 10% of this game than me, and now I know it. And now I've been working on it, and now I know I will be better than him at his own game the next time around.
Furthermore, Kamaru Usman highlighted Strick's style, making him difficult to hit. He explained that unlike most fighters who attack the head aggressively, Strickland stays relaxed, keeps his hands loose, and leans just enough to avoid clean shots. Usman added that if Khamzat can't use his usual game plan, he may have to reveal the full range of his skills.
This is what I have to say is that Strickland is, I've always said this, Strickland is extremely tricky to hit because everyone gets into the sport, is fighting, and then everyone swings at people's heads and try to take off their heads. Strickland had this weird style of just kind of relax here and just kind of throws his hands up to kind of block and leans away to where it's very difficult for people to get to his face, to hit him. As you see when he, who was it that actually caught him was Pereira. I think it was coming off of like a fake knee, and it was kind of just a, you know, Pereira has those hooks that you don't really see because his hands are so low, and it just boom, and then a straight right, boom, put him out. You know, it's a very, if you're not in a situation like that, Strickland is very hard to hit. Now, with what everyone sees with Khamzat, I think, and you can, I don't know if you've been put in this situation yet. I don't think you've been in that fight, Bo, but you can be put in a situation where your go-to move does not work. and you're forced to show your whole arsenal.
Jorge Masvidal also favors Strickland over Chimaev, believing Chimaev wouldn't have the edge. He expressed such confidence in Strickland that he joked about betting heavily on the outcome. Masvidal also hinted that Chimaev might try to avoid the fight despite their long history of training together.
You know, now I know he went up to 185 and did some big things, but I don't think he beats Strickland. I don't think so.
What? That is a wild take.
I'll bet.
Yo, that's a wild take.
I'm dumping the house on Strickland on that one.
That's a wild take.
I'm gonna put
really?
like 100 bands, and I don't even think Chimaev fights him because they've trained a lot.
This is a wild take.
You'll see my I'm fucking prize picks. I put up 100 bands of my own money. I'm gonna go whap. That's how confident I am. Strickland beats him.
Dude, that would be huge for his legacy if he beats a guy like Khamzat.
He beats him.
Holy shit! Really?
It's a bad style for him. I've seen Sean go with good wrestlers over at American Top Team. Guys that wrestled their whole lives, All-Americans, national champions. And dude, this guy can wrestle defensively. Now, he never uses his wrestling in a fight, Strickland. But if you try to wrestle with him, you quickly find out this guy could wrestle back enemy. And that costs a lot of energy. And Chimaev doesn't have the best gas tank, you know?
MMA Guru describes the clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland as the biggest fight in the division right now. He points out that Strickland earned his shot through dominant performances, proving that despite critics, he has solidified himself as a legitimate and deserving contender.
The biggest matchup, Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland was asking for it after his win against Anthony Hernandez. Poor Nasruddin Imavov. No one cares, buddy. It is bad for Nasruddin Imavov because he is very deserving, but I guess they are taking into consideration the fact that Sean Strickland has a win over Nasruddin Imavov. You know, a lot of people were trashing Sean Strickland about his fighting ability before the Anthony Hernandez fight, including Nasruddin Imavov as well. He was trashing Strickland, saying this guy's complete trash, this guy's garbage, and I even put a tweet out saying, this guy beat you on a week's notice. You know, Strickland has some solid wins, and they're definitely coming into play here.
MMA Guru rates Khamzat Chimaev as one of the toughest opponents in the sport right now. He noted that while Strickland could try to rely on wrestling to even the odds, Chimaev's continual skill development and growth as a champion gives him the edge. The Guru also pointed to Chimaev's 5-round battle with Dricus du Plessis.
It's hard to pick against Khamzat Chimaev right now. I do think Strickland has the wrestling game to make it a little bit more of a challenge. But man, it's hard to go against Khamzat Chimaev, and he's only going to be getting better as well. Now that he's a world champion, he's had a lot of time to recover, a lot of time to develop his game. 5 rounds with Dricus du Plessis, that's valuable experience. He'd never been 5 rounds. I don't think he'd ever had a 5-round fight booked. Maybe he had on some like weird circumstance, but I don't think he had. And if he did, he finished it in round 1. He'd never been 5 rounds before. That's a very good experience against a great fighter like Dricus du Plessis, who has wins over Sean Strickland.
That wraps up today's breakdown. What do you think about all these matchups? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth fight analysis and updates.